What is up? September 20th weekly update. Biggest highlight of this week is definitely I did a show for some coworkers this week, which was kind of nice. It was pretty cool. Because throughout the week I wrote on Sunday, I wrote on Tuesday, and then I wrote on Thursday for a total of like I want to say 8 hours about in total of all the time that I spent writing, um, which was really nice because then I also did a lot of mics. I did two mics on Sunday, a mic on Wednesday, two mics on Tuesday, no mics on Wednesday, and then I did three on Thursday. And so interspersed throughout all of those sets, I've been doing this thing, this I that's that I got from this book that I read. I've been doing basically I give myself goals every set, right? That's the gist of it. Um, I read this book where this comedian interviewed other comedians, and the interviewer he said that one of the things that helped him a lot, with just uh, denoting progress in the early days of his stand-up career, what helped him a lot was giving himself a goal, just a goal. Like, what's a goal for tonight? What's a goal for this set, right? And so, with all the writing that I did this week, I gave myself goals for my set where it's like, remember one particular joke, transition from one set to another set or from one bit to another bit. Um, take my time, right? That was a goal that I gave myself a few times because I rewrote my whole set, the order of the jokes, rewrote some of the setups, rewrote some punchlines, all of that stuff. So the whole setup of it was different. And so I gave myself the goal of like, sit like just take your time with your jokes, don't try to remember everything, right? Just take it one joke at a time, reference your journal, right? You're still getting it down, and you're not going to get huge laughs this set. That's okay. But work at it, be intentional and work at remembering your jokes and just taking your time. So doing that. Um, and so that's what I did. I did a lot of sets. I wrote a lot of jokes. I wrote a lot in general. Then I'm gonna write today after I'm done with this. And then after I did all that, I felt the set coming along pretty well, honestly. And Thursday, I go to one set, I do my set there. I really didn't look at my journal all that much. And then when I go to the second mic on Thursday, along the walk to the bar, I run into one of my coworkers who's sitting in her car, and I recognize her, and we start talking. She opens the door, and we talk for a little bit, and she says that some people from work are actually gonna they're meeting up there at that bar. I was like, really? And she's like, yeah. I was like, oh, dude, you guys are gonna see me do comedy then? She's like, really? I'm just like, yeah. And so we go to the bar, and when we get there, the host, shout out to Jose Narcisio, um, he said that the mic had just ended like 5 minutes prior, because it was done. He had a show there earlier that night. People went to the show. It was a huge crowd. And then once the show was over, they stuck around for the mic, and then they were there for the mic, and then the mic ended like 5 minutes before I arrived, which was lame. And so I was like, oh, dude, that sucks. But he said that because I told him that, like, I know a crowd is going to show up because I know coworkers are coming, um, which is lame. And so, long story short, he's like, you know what? If they get here by 11, um, I'll turn the speaker back on, and, we'll do another round of sets. I was like, all right, cool. And so I let my coworker know. I asked her, she's like, hey, how many people are going to show up? Do you know? She's like, I don't know how many, but I know they're on their way because we were closing out. I'm like, all right, cool. So I let the host know. I'm just like, yeah, she doesn't know how many people are coming, but I'd say I'd say at least 8 people are gonna come. He's like, "All right, cool." So then, even aside from my coworkers, some other people from the bar actually came out, and there was like 6 other people outside aside from my coworkers. Then my coworkers showed up, and it was like, what? I think it was like 8, 9 people. So then at that point we had a crowd, and then Jose, he turned the speaker back on, did another set because he did his set on the show, and then he did a set for the open mic, and then he did that set, which was basically a second open mic. Um, and so did his set, brought up another comic, and then I went up. And so right before I went up, I let all my coworkers know, I'm like, "Hey, I'm about to go up." Went up, did my set, and one thing that I would always do whenever I would do sets would be I would like take my journal, I'd put it on the stool just as like a reference in case I need it for anything. But when I found out my coworkers were going to be there. Um, I was like, dude, I can't look at my journal. I can't look at my journal. I need to remember my jokes, honestly. Like I really need to remember my jokes. So I went up there, took my time, you know, just went through my set, went through each joke, you know, took a moment after I said each joke to kind of like collect myself and like, all right, what's the next one? This one, and then just started it, went through it, finished that joke, next joke, like what's the next joke? This one, started it, went rinse, repeat, finished my first bit, went into the second bit, did those jokes, and then, I started with a joke that I knew that worked, and then I ended with a joke that I knew worked, and that was it. I got laughs throughout my set from my coworkers and from other people in the crowd. Um, got off, got some fist bumps from some comics. And then I went to my coworkers and they told me like you were the best. Well, they said I was one of the best. I don't remember if they said you were the best or if I was one of the best, but they definitely said that, like, compared to the other comics who went up, I was the only one who seemed to have had actual jokes. Like I went up, you know, premise, setup, punchline, premise, setup, punchline, premise, setup, punchline. Like I was the only one who actually was like doing jokes, going up there and like doing jokes. Everyone else that went up, except for one other guy, everyone else that went up kind of went up there and they like screwed around and they really didn't tell any jokes. So yeah, they liked it. My coworkers liked it, which was really cool. Because there was part of me that was a little nervous about, you know, doing my material in front of coworkers. And then just generally in front of anybody that I know, because that's the second time that I've done it in front of people that I actually know, aside from comics and random audience members and stuff. So that was Thursday, and then after that, I went to another mic, um, and I just hung out with comics. I hung out with comics at that third mic on Thursday. Hung out, you know, talked, chilled. I did a set as well, which went okay. It went okay. There was only 2 people in that audience. It was like, what, I think, 1 o'clock in the morning by the time I went up. 1 o'clock, 1:10, something like that. Did my set. It was a 3-minute set, and then after that, I went upstairs and I hung out with comics, talked, chilled, shot the shit. Um, and then it hit 2 o'clock, and I'm like, all right, I'm good. And then left, went home, went to sleep, all that good stuff. So yeah, this week was just another solid week of comedy. Another solid week of writing jokes, working on my set, doing sets, or working on my act, working on my bits, doing sets, and just trying to get funnier. So I'm about to get to writing shortly right now. Um, so that's basically it. Perfect timing, 9:30. Um, so like and subscribe if you would like to. Um, and that's basically it. God bless.